Welcome, treasure hunters. Did you know that an ordinary-looking Australian 50-cent coin from 1969 or the bicentennial years could actually be worth millions today? That's right. These tiny pieces of history are not just coins. They're life-changing fortunes hiding in plain sight. In this video, we'll uncover the most valuable and rarest Australian 50-cent coins that could turn your pocket change into pure gold. So, stay tuned, because the coin in your hand might just be the jackpot you've been waiting for. Let's get started. Dive into the fascinating world of rare Australian 50-cent coins and their incredible value. The Australian 50-cent piece is one of the most iconic coins in the country's currency system, and while most were minted for everyday use, a few extraordinary varieties have become legendary among collectors. Some of these rare coins, particularly those associated with early issues, such as the late 1960s, hold unimaginable worth today. When combined with the idea of bicentennial celebrations, the aura of rarity and heritage adds even more shine to their reputation. These coins are not just pieces of metal. They are small treasures that carry history, artistry, and the potential to change someone's life in an instant. The 1969 Australian 50-cent coin stands out because it came shortly after the famous 1966 round silver 50 cent, which was withdrawn due to its high silver content. By 1969, the Royal Australian Mint was still refining the production of the dodecagonal 50-cent piece, and many varieties, minting quirks, and limited runs were created. Some of these coins, with rare misprints, double strikes, or proof-like qualities, are worth small fortunes in today's market. While most Australians tossed these coins into jars or spent them without thinking, collectors now look at each surviving piece with a magnifying glass, hunting for signs of rarity that could transform a simple coin into a priceless artifact. When we talk about bicentennial coins, the story becomes even more electrifying. Australia's bicentennial celebrations in 1988 brought special commemorative coins into circulation, and certain rare strikes of the 50-cent coin became overnight sensations. These coins often featured unique designs symbolizing 200 years of European settlement, and though millions were minted, only a small fraction of unusual variants exist. For instance, coins with low mintages, experimental metals, or design anomalies can command staggering prices. A standard circulation coin might be worth 50 cents at face value, but in rare bicentennial form, it could be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even more depending on its rarity and condition. The world of rare coins thrives on mystery and scarcity, and that is what makes Australian bicentennial 50-cent coins so captivating. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that collectors are fighting to buy at auction for 6 or 7 figures. That's not fantasy. It has happened before. In some cases, coins believed to be lost or melted down suddenly appear in collections, igniting bidding wars that push prices into the millions. These are the holy grails of Australian coin collecting, pieces that make the headlines and leave ordinary people stunned that a simple piece of change could hold such wealth. For collectors, what drives the value of these coins is not just age but story. A coin tied to the bicentennial era is more than just metal. It's a piece of Australia's cultural memory. It represents 2 centuries of resilience, growth, and identity, captured forever in a small round artifact. Rarity magnifies this significance, as only a handful of people in the entire world can ever hope to own such a treasure. The prestige of ownership adds another layer of desirability, ensuring that demand among high-profile collectors and investors never fades. The rarer the coin, the higher the bidding climbs, and the more astronomical the value becomes. One of the reasons these rare bicentennial coins are so highly prized is that they bridge the gap between history and fortune. Unlike stocks or real estate, their value is not just economic but emotional. People are drawn to them because they tell a story, they connect the present to the past, and they offer the thrill of discovery. Collectors dream of stumbling upon that one elusive 1969 50-cent rarity or a rare bicentennial misprint, knowing it could transform their financial future in a heartbeat. Owning such a coin is not only about wealth, but about holding a piece of Australia's soul in your hand. What makes this even more exciting is the unpredictability of the coin market. At times, prices for certain rare coins skyrocket overnight, fueled by auctions, collector demand, and the sheer scarcity of supply. Stories circulate of coins once dismissed as ordinary suddenly being reclassified as rare, causing their value to explode. For Australian bicentennial coins and the early 50-cent rarities, this unpredictability is part of the magic. It means that anyone, anywhere, could unknowingly have a treasure tucked away in an old wallet, drawer, or coin jar waiting to be discovered. So, if you happen to own an Australian 50-cent coin from 1969 or a rare bicentennial edition, treat it like gold. Don't rush to spend it or exchange it for pocket change. It might be worth a fortune beyond imagination. These coins have already changed lives, turning ordinary people into overnight millionaires. They remind us that history, rarity, and chance can combine in extraordinary ways. And who knows? The coin sitting quietly in your collection could be the next record-breaking treasure, the one that captures the world's attention and cements your place in the thrilling history of rare Australian currency. Next, coins. When it comes to the fascinating world of coin collecting, few stories capture the imagination quite like the legend of rare Australian 50-cent coins. Among them, the coins from the early 1970s and bicentennial-era issues stand as shining symbols of hidden treasure. At first glance, these coins may appear like ordinary pocket change, dull silver hexagons that most people toss into jars or leave at the bottom of a drawer. But look closer, and you'll discover a secret. Some of these pieces of metal are worth not just hundreds or thousands, but millions of dollars to the right collector. Imagine holding in your hand what looks like everyday currency, only to realize it could change your financial destiny overnight. The 50-cent coin holds a unique place in Australian history. Introduced in 1966, it replaced the old shilling and quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in circulation due to its distinctive 12-sided shape. While the original round silver version was short-lived, later issues became part of everyday life. However, within these standard releases, a few rare variants slipped into the mix, mistakes, experimental strikes, or special commemorative designs that today are worth more than gold. It is these coins, minted during moments of transition, such as 1971 and the bicentennial celebrations, that capture collectors' imaginations and wallets alike. The 1971 series in particular is an intriguing case. Millions of coins were struck, and for the average Australian, they were just another piece of change rattling around in a purse or pocket. But certain 1971 50-cent coins with minting errors, misaligned dies, double strikes, or variations in metal composition have since become the crown jewels of coin collections. To a collector, these imperfections aren't flaws at all. They are rare fingerprints of history, each telling a story of a moment when the mint's machinery slipped and accidentally created treasure. In today's market, such mistakes are celebrated and fetch astounding sums that can climb into the millions. The bicentennial era, celebrating 200 years since the arrival of the first fleet in 1788, gave birth to a range of commemorative designs that took on new significance. Australia's bicentennial coins are instantly recognizable, carrying bold imagery that connects with the nation's identity. But not all bicentennial coins are created equal. Within that grand celebration, rare issues of the 50-cent coin emerged, coins that were minted in limited numbers, distributed in small batches, or struck with unique features. These are the coins that have transformed ordinary Australians into millionaires almost by accident, simply because they had the foresight not to spend what seemed like an everyday coin. What makes these rare coins so valuable is not just scarcity, but also the emotional pull they carry. Every coin is more than metal. It is a slice of history, a piece of art, and a link to national pride. Collectors across the globe seek them out, fueling bidding wars that push their values higher and higher. For them, owning a rare Australian bicentennial 50-cent coin is like owning a passport to history, a direct connection to a defining moment in the life of a nation. And when passion meets rarity, prices soar beyond imagination. turning pocket change into priceless artifacts. For those lucky enough to stumble upon one of these coins, the experience can be life-changing. Imagine checking an old coin jar in the back of a cupboard, only to find a dull, worn 50-cent piece that collectors are desperate to pay millions for. Overnight, a forgotten piece of silver can unlock a world of financial freedom. Stories circulate of ordinary families discovering their old change collections and walking away with fortunes, proof that these coins hold real, life-altering power. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Never underestimate the value of old coins. What might look like spare change can in fact be a key to untold wealth. Every Australian should take a moment to examine their old 50-cent coins, particularly those from 1971 and bicentennial years, because within these dates lies the possibility of striking it rich. Unlike stocks or real estate, rare coins can yield instant returns the moment they are recognized by a collector or auction house. They are small, portable treasures that pack unimaginable value into their modest frames. So, if you ever find yourself holding on to a bicentennial 50-cent coin from the early 1970s, remember this. You could be holding a fortune in your palm. These coins aren't just currency. They are symbols of luck, history, and prosperity. The next time you hear a coin clink in your pocket, listen carefully. It might be the sound of your future wealth. For some, these pieces of metal have meant the difference between ordinary life and billionaire dreams, proving that sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. Would you like me to also polish this into a spoken-style YouTube script with dramatic pauses and hook-style openers, so it sounds more natural when read aloud?